The world is but an enormous makeshift stage, and I find myself absurdly out of place. My father is a financial magnate, yet I struggle to comprehend even the simplest arithmetic. My mother is a stunning film star, while my appearance is rather unremarkable. My brother established his own personal art exhibition at the tender age of 4, whereas I was still stumbling behind him at 5, babbling incoherently. Even our household staff, Aunt Wong and Uncle Chun, are extraordinary figures in their own right, one a retired luminary, the other a hidden virtuoso. Fortunately, they all dote on me, and I have gradually come to terms with my situation. Until one day, a prodigious girl, renowned across the internet, arrived at my doorstep, demanding that I relinquish my position as the true daughter of the family. At last, the long-held tension within me has dissipated. I have always felt a profound disconnect with this family. My father is a titan of finance, my mother an international film queen. Yet, I possess a rather mediocre intellect and an unremarkable visage. If extremes inevitably lead to counterbalances, my brother, on the other hand, excels in every conceivable domain. He launched his personal art exhibition at 4, joined the elite youth program at 8, and was shortlisted among the top 10 most handsome faces in the world at 15. That I have felt the stirrings of jealousy, the desire to twist reality, to crawl in the shadows. Yet, ultimately, I chose to reconcile with myself. After all, one cannot expect the ancestral grave to continuously emit smoke. Living a life of mere existence, I remained oblivious until the arrival of the internet sensation, the prodigious young lady, Watching. It was the nurse in the delivery room who candidly confessed that a mix-up had occurred at birth, revealing that I was the true heiress of the Sue family. You? So ordinary, how could you possibly be our parents' daughter? She proclaimed, her determination palpable as she declared her intent to reclaim what was rightfully hers. Alone, yet exuding the presence of a multitude, Watching's assertiveness plunged my family, and indeed myself, into a profound contemplation. My aloof father, the indifferent mother, and my taciturn brother, all fell silent. How could such a mistake happen? I pondered, recalling that my mother had been too preoccupied with counting her stretch marks post-delivery to notice that the child had been entrusted to Jun. My brother, a stoic figure, after a brief pause, coldly remarked, I was only 3 at the time. My mother, radiant yet suddenly mute, attempted to deflect blame. But you loved holding the baby, always asking if you could share your delightful toys with your little friend, Nuan Nuan. Nuan Nuan is not my girlfriend, I interjected, feeling the tension rise. Yet every time she sees me, she sweetly calls me Mom. My discomfort grew, mirrored in Watching's expression. As my mother and brother delved deeper into their argument, I felt compelled to intervene. Father, mother, brother, look at my face, then at hers. Surely, we resemble each other more closely, I insisted, gesturing towards a sofa where I sat. I touched my unremarkable face, nodding in reluctant agreement. Throughout my life, my brother had garnered compliments such as handsome and striking, often compared to our father. While I had only ever received a singular remark, this girl is rather pleasant to look at. It was disheartening, despite my academic prowess, consistently ranking at the top. Watching's history revealed her to be a perennial underachiever, even resorting to purchasing her university degree. My heart sank with a twinge of shame. Since the beginning of my schooling, my brother had been a perennial champion, while I remained a perennial loser in the academic arena. Teachers, in disbelief of my lack of progress, provided me with supplementary lessons, but the pressure ultimately led to my mental collapse. In the haze of my despair, Watching clung to my hand, relentlessly questioning our relationship. The guilt weighed heavily upon me, reflecting on my plight. I had spent the night before an exam laboriously studying an entire mathematics textbook, only to become the first in history to score 0 on a test filled with equations. As I glanced at my parents and brother, their expressions grave, I wondered aloud, is it possible that perhaps you are indeed the true family? My parents fell into contemplation, while my brother's gaze grew solemn. Watching continued her fervent cries, do you not believe I am your daughter? After wandering alone for 18 years, how can you doubt me now? The atmosphere thickened with tension until Wang Ma, always lurking in the shadows, finally spoke up. Sir, madam, young master, miss. There exists a method known as paternity testing. The process of the paternity test proceeded smoothly, with the report due in a month. Watching, perturbed by the wait, began arguing with the staff. Why must the results take a month? It's a matter of queue, came the unflinching response. Do you know who I am? She demanded. Citizen, the staff replied, emotionless. Who gave you the audacity to speak to me this way? The state, a public institution, was the unyielding reply. Do watching, livid, stomped her feet in frustration. I felt compelled to intervene, approaching her to suggest, why not wait? It's only a month. Before I could finish, she shook me off. You be quiet. You would relish the chance for me to remain an intruder for another month, but I shall not grant you that opportunity. She then seized the lab technician's coat, her voice commanding, I order you to produce the results today or face the consequences. The consequence was a 3-day detention for watching. 3 days later, she returned, demanding to stay at our house, claiming she wished to experience the familial warmth she had been deprived of for so long. My indifferent father, Wang Ma, and the vacant guest room awaited. Overcome with emotion, watching's eyes brimmed with tears. My parents have already accepted my identity. This is truly wonderful. I will cherish every moment with you. She shot me a challenging glance, her voice booming. I will make up for the companionship I lacked. I turned away, suppressing my emotions. Companionship since childhood, it had been an illusion for me. I awoke daily in a vast 500 square meter home, breakfasting at an 8-meter-long dining table with only Wang Ma, Uncle Chen, my brother on weekends, and 2 Doberman dogs in the yard as my companions. Solitude and coldness define my childhood. In my youth, I often gazed skyward at a 45-degree angle, embodying the melancholy of adolescent literature. My social media posts lamented, wealth cannot buy love and companionship. Understanding requires no inquiry, and ignorance need not ask. However, this behavior came to an abrupt halt during the New Year's Eve dinner when my brother captured my posts, magnified them, and presented them in a PowerPoint format at the dining table. Reluctant to revisit the embarrassment of that moment, I felt a pang of sympathy for watching. Her aspirations were destined to be unfulfilled. Yet my glamorous mother, beaming with delight, applauded enthusiastically, echoing, what a splendid sentiment. I too wished to make up for past regrets. You are so beautiful. I must dress you as a breathtaking princess. Upon hearing this, my brother and I instinctively took a step back, caught between words unspoken. Yet, as I observed my mother enthusiastically leading watching like a giddy young girl, my brother and I exchanged glances, our mouths agape before closing again. I have so many beautiful dresses that have never been worn. Finally, I've found a model. My mother exclaimed, her excitement palpable. Mom, if you wish, I would gladly be your model for life. Watching's sincerity was overwhelming, and I felt a wave of sympathy wash over me. How touching. I am moved to tears. I am so grateful for you, she gushed, swept away by the moment. After a while, she glanced at me. Mom, have you never dressed up my sister before? But that makes sense, after all, she is not your biological child, so there is a natural distance between you, she replied. Just like the 2 dogs in the yard. Their bond is profound only because they are mother and offspring. The false cannot ever become true. Watching continued with her commentary, growing more explicit. Look at how they cuddle together. It mirrors our family's dynamic. I couldn't help but interject, but both De Huang and Xiaohe are male. Watching's smile faltered. I had them neutered over a decade ago. Her complexion turned a shade of crimson. However, her expression quickly regained its former confidence as my mother joyfully led her upstairs, leaving with a victorious glance aimed at me, unaware of the sympathy reflected in my eyes. Good luck to her. At lunch, the table remained occupied by 4 individuals, myself, my brother, my mother, and the now extravagantly adorned watching, resembling a dopamine-infused doll in her opulent gown, exquisite jewelry, and towering top hat. It was not haute couture. It was high fashion. I gazed at watching, adorned with a towering cake-like decoration atop her head and makeup reminiscent of a medieval specter, feeling an overwhelming wave of sympathy. Throughout my life, my mother, an acclaimed international actress, endeavored to craft the most beautiful dolls. Unfortunately, I was merely average, often neglecting her aspirations, leading to her disappointment. My brother, though exceptionally gifted, inherited our father's formidable presence, mastering the art of intimidation with a mere glance, consistently thwarting my mother's ambitions. Yet I knew that although my mother had paused in her pursuits, she had never relinquished hope, acquiring countless dolls, even commissioning them in my father's name. This endeavor had once sparked a scandal among the elite. Returning to the present, I focused on watching, who was so tightly corseted that she could barely sit and was forced to stand as she ate. As she served the dishes, the towering 8-layer cake atop her head teetered precariously, and as she lowered her gaze, the powder on her face tumbled into the bowl. Brother, it's not Christmas. We're not setting up a Christmas tree, I chuckled, unable to suppress my laughter. My mother, upon hearing this, immediately became displeased. Doesn't it look nice? She resembles a doll, she remarked, her almond-shaped eyes blinking rapidly. Dolls don't need to breathe. She's about to suffocate, my brother retorted, causing my mother to falter. She cast a concerned glance at Du Ruoqing. Yet, I could only wonder what thoughts were racing through Du Ruoqing's mind, her face turning a shade of purple from holding her breath. Despite my mother's rare display of empathy, she forced a smile that was more grotesque than sorrowful. I'm fine, she insisted. Don't force yourself, I kindly cautioned, but she dismissed my concern with sarcasm. You wouldn't understand. A parent's love for their daughter is as heavy as a mountain. This isn't a shackle, but the weight of their profound affection, she declared, and with that, a crisp crack echoed through the air. Du Ruoqing's expression began to contort, her body trembling. Ultimately, under the influence of the 8-layer cake, she toppled backward, producing a deafening crash, leading to a chaotic scene. Indeed, a parent's love is as burdensome as a mountain. When Du Ruoqing returned from the hospital, my father was also back. I watched as the mummified Du Ruoqing was escorted upstairs by my parents, silently gazing upward at a 45-degree angle, lost in contemplation. Miss, don't overthink it. After all, you've lived with the Su family for 18 years, Wang Ma approached me, draping a blanket around my shoulders, her tone laced with comfort. I straightened up, slowly redirecting my gaze to her face, and declared earnestly, Wang Ma, I've come to a realization. The nurse who swapped me and Du Ruoqing was exceptionally perceptive. Wang Ma was taken aback, her expression multifaceted. I placed my hand on her shoulder and continued. She foresaw that Du Ruoqing and the Su family were incompatible.
Wang Ma gasped.
Having only returned twice and already transformed like this. If she had lived here for 18 years, would she even survive? Surely, there must have been someone wise who switched me in to shield her from calamities. Du Ruoqing had spent a few days at home before finally sensing something was amiss. At the dining table, she confronted me. Why do I see you every day? Because it's not the weekend, I replied, serving myself a bowl of soup without lifting my head. On weekends, you might see another what about our parents? She interjected indignantly. I took a sip of my soup, pondering, Turkey, France, Tokyo, or Paris. Her face darkened, accusing me of being a fool for reading such lyrics. I shrugged, my expression one of helplessness. I spoke the truth, after all. Financial tycoons abound, and top actresses are everywhere. Yet, Du Ruoqing could not accept this. She stared at me fiercely, her eyes reddening with unshed tears, resembling the pitiful expression of a puppy. When I first found Little Black, it bore a similar look of distress, but once given a toy ball, it joyfully scampered around the yard. However, that toy ball had been played with for years, and I hesitated to offer it to her, wondering if Little Black might mind. What if you come along with me? I suggested tentatively, only for Du Ruoqing to burst into tears. Unbeknownst to Du Ruoqing, that evening my parents and brother all returned. The 5 of us, along with 2 employees and 2 dogs, filled the living room, initiating my first family meeting. Du Ruoqing took the lead. Dad, Mom, I wish to truly become your daughter. My parents exchanged glances. The appraisal report has come out, my mother inquired, flipping through her calendar. Has it really been so long? I feel as if I just left home yesterday. My father frowned, lowering his gaze to sift through his computer emails. 3 months. And the project in the South City hasn't been secured? The planning department is a bunch of useless people. 3 days, 18 hours, 37 minutes, my brother remarked. And my parents simultaneously sighed in relief. Du Ruoqing's expression grew even more pitiful. Dad, what I mean is, after all this time, I hope to shoulder the responsibilities expected of a daughter of the Su family, rather than living carelessly like her. She pointed at me. You wish to be the heir? My brother grasped her intent, his tone indifferent as his narrow eyes scrutinized her, the depth of understanding in his gaze, making her falter.
Du Ruoqing asserted.
Children of the Su family are all alike. I merely wish to share the burden and, like you, become a source of pride for our parents.
Dad.
Trust me just once. I've always looked up to you as a role model, aspiring to be like you. Please grant me the opportunity to prove myself. I couldn't contain a chuckle and quickly cover my mouth. Ahem, Wang Ma and Uncle Chen reminded me from behind. I hastily concealed my grin and obediently diminished my presence. Du Ruoqing continued to express her years of loneliness, desperately seeking a sense of belonging, her voice choked with emotion. My mother was moved. Old Su, the child merely seeks validation. Why not? My father furrowed his brow, exuding an aura of authority. At that moment, my brother spoke up. I have no objections. Hearing this, my father finally relented. Fine, Uncle Chun, arrange her classes for tomorrow. Du Ruoqing was elated, casting a superior glance my way. I lowered my head, letting out a deep sigh. The youth, she had no inkling of the challenges awaiting her. On the first day of her classes, Du Ruoqing cried once more. Faced with towering stacks of books and practice papers, her small mind seemed on the verge of bursting. Uncle Chun stood nearby, his expression unchanging. Miss, starting today, I will hire teachers from various fields to provide you with one-on-one tutoring, all according to the young master as standards. However, as the young master has been studying since childhood, his pace will undoubtedly be faster than yours. But you needn't worry. I've arranged a systematic study plan to ensure you can catch up swiftly. Today's subjects include finance, management, market analysis, planning, piano, guzheng, yangqin, German, Arabic, Spanish, and astronomy. Wait, Du Ruoqing could no longer bear it, her lips trembling, tears threatening to spill as she desperately clung to a shred of hope. Why must I study astronomy? Not only that, but you must also learn household management. All children of the Su family are well-rounded and excel in every aspect. But she is so idle, Du Ruoqing pointed at me. I, lost in a drama while munching on chips, looked up in confusion, meeting her reddened eyes, and boldly replied, I merely live off my parents. Du Ruoqing's face turned a shade of deep crimson. Thus began Du Ruoqing's routine of rising at 5 in the morning, washing up, and finishing breakfast before practicing the yangqin for an hour, learning German for an hour, and then embarking on a day filled with finance and other professional courses, punctuated by an hour of piano practice, until her classes concluded at 10:30 in the evening. The next day continued the same. Initially, Du Ruoqing had complained about only seeing me at home every day. Now, she encountered many people daily, yet I was the only one absent from her sight. And she had no time to call for my attention, for she was nearly on her knees. Ultimately, this situation culminated in Du Ruoqing collapsing from exhaustion, resulting in a fractured rib and further injury. She lay in bed, her complexion pallid, barely able to breathe. I stood by her bedside, offering kind words of consolation. There's no difficulty in this world, as long as one is willing to give up. She glared at me, her eyes glinting with resentment. I handed her a spicy strip, and she was moved to tears, though words escaped her lips. My chest rose and fell violently for a while, and all I could hear was the sound of her throat emitting a series of gasps. My arm, raised for too long, began to ache. Just as I contemplated whether to retract my hand, my brother, with his stoic demeanor, unexpectedly returned. Upon seeing him, Du Ruoqing burst into tears, resembling a weeping pear blossom. Even I, a straight woman, felt a twinge of emotion, yet my brother remained oblivious. His hands buried in his pockets as he uttered the most callous words with chilling indifference. He who wishes to wear the crown must bear its weight. This shattered Du Ruoqing's composure. Observing her sprawled on the bed, devoid of hope, I felt a pang of sympathy and cleared my throat to ease the tension. Why are you back? I asked. Just logged on, he replied tersely. Thankfully, I understood his implication but wore an expression of refusal. Just as I prepared to excuse myself to the restroom, he interrupted my escape with urgency. I felt my skin crawl. Alas, a sister is but a servant to her brother. Even I was not spared from this fate. Thus, under the icy gaze of my brother that could freeze the very air, I resignedly set aside my spicy snack, retrieved my phone, and nervously opened the Honor of Kings app. Familiar matches or random ones. Balanced development or mindless farming. I resigned myself to my fate. However, as I opened the app, Du Ruoqing's voice cut in, Brother, are you gaming? I can play too, take me along. I looked up at her in disbelief. If it were possible, I would have struck a dramatic pose and shouted for her to cease her antics. Yet, Du Ruoqing had already produced her phone, opened the game page, and with a triumphant Timmy, wore a smug smile. Brother, I have an excellent track record. I'm a top-tier Yao player. I can definitely carry us. My skills are far superior to someone else's, she boasted. My hand trembled as I clutched the phone's frame. Noticing that neither my brother nor I responded, her eyes turned red again, her voice thick with emotion. Brother, I am also your sister. Even if we did not grow up together, blood is thicker than water. I do not wish to tear this family apart. I want to join it. Please, do not exclude me. Listening to her, I felt a tumult of emotions within. It was a 10-game losing streak. My heart remained unperturbed, for I had grown accustomed to it. Years of acquaintance had granted me profound insight into my brother's character. Though he appeared cold and unapproachable, he was, in truth, emotionally detached and unyielding. His sharp tongue was a lethal weapon, and he bore a fatal flaw: bad luck. You could not fault his skills or positioning, but playing ranked matches with him often resulted in an immediate 10-game losing streak. Ultimately, I contributed this curse to his mouth, which seemed to spew forth bad fortune as if it were a jet engine. Time and again, he would berate teammates for idling while the opposing team ran rampant. If you're lacking maternal love, I can provide it. There's no need to raise the enemies like a dutiful son. What items should a support buy? A shroud, perhaps? You might as well scatter rice on your phone. Even a chicken would navigate better than you. Are you paralyzed from the waist down, or all limbs? Playing Yao while dancing on your family's graves. The Yao character on the screen was flailing about, lost and unable to find her way home, having been berated into confusion. My brother cast a cold glance at the bed where Watching lay, her face ashen. I hastily exited the room with my phone in hand. Having scolded her today, she wouldn't dare to retaliate against me. I understood that Watching was attempting to curry favor with our parents and my brother, but alas, all her efforts were in vain. She texted our mother, "Mom, your latest leading role in the series was absolutely brilliant. I've written a 30,000-word essay analyzing your character, filled with shining moments." Yet this very essay became fodder for critics, leading to our mother being trending for all the wrong reasons the next day. She tidied our father's study, saying, "Dad, I've been diligent lately, studying your documents every day, and I've cleared out a lot of unnecessary materials." Unfortunately, several of our father's important projects collapsed due to incomplete data. She prepared lunch for my brother, a homemade mango curry beef dish, only for him to be rushed to the hospital due to allergies to mango, curry, and beef. Cold father, how long until the report is ready? Dazzling mother, it's only been a month and 15 days. Stoic brother, I don't think I'm that hard to kill. My conviction strengthened. The nurse who had made the mix-up likely sought to protect not Watching, but the other 3 members of the Sue family. In the end, the 3 of them, in a moment of clarity, resolved to send Watching abroad for her studies, with Argentina as the destination, the farthest country from ours. On the day we received this news, Watching cried bitterly, pointing at me in indignation. What about her? She shouted, her voice hoarse. This time my parents and brother were taken aback. Why would we send in and away? My mother, bewildered, asked Watching. Seeing this, Watching became even more frantic, stamping her foot in frustration. She isn't your daughter. I am. I have returned, so she should leave. There can only be one of us. My mother, perplexed, replied, only children make choices. Adults can't have it all. My father, with a cold gaze, added, all are registered under the Sue family. My brother scoffed, the Sue family can afford to raise them. I was moved. I had always believed myself to be an outsider within this family, yet now I was touched by their unwavering choice. Just as tears brimmed in my eyes, threatening to spill over, I heard my mother say, with her foolishness, and having been nurtured into a state of lethargy under our care, how could she survive outside? We would be responsible. The tears that had nearly escaped were forcibly stifled. I realized my brother's sharp tongue had found its rightful owner today. Yet Watching was not satisfied, pointing at me and demanding my parents make an ultimatum, threatening to sever ties if they did not comply. You're threatening us, my father stated coldly. After severing ties, how would you still have me as a model? My glamorous mother inquired. Less competition for the family fortune, my brother quipped. Watching froze, seemingly unprepared for their indifference. In her mind, they should have been distraught and flustered, at the very least caught in a dilemma. But I understood all too well. In a wealthy family, familial ties are tenuous. I had heard that my father once schemed against his own brother to rise in rank. My brother and I grew up in the Sue household, seeing the nanny more often than our parents. In their hearts, their careers held greater importance than us. Thus, I could only conclude that Watching had overestimated her significance. Now, she had become the jester herself. A phone call from the identification agency ultimately saved Watching, notifying us that the report had arrived early and we should come to collect it. My father, mother, and brother all piled into one vehicle. My saintly heart overflowed, and I chose to ride with Watching. However, I never anticipated that this very act of compassion would lead to calamity. Watching and I were kidnapped. Our captor was Wang Ma. Watching was taken aback, as was I. What astonished me was not Wang Ma's audacity in abducting me, but rather her remarkable ability to single-handedly incapacitate over 20 of the Sue family's bodyguards at the age of 50, armed only with a spatula. Wang Ma, I called out. my eyes reddening. She paused momentarily, her expression complex as she regarded me. Miss, I am truly sorry. I am merely following orders. Please, do not hold this against me. You have such skills. When we were 10, we chased after my brother together, yet you couldn't help me squeeze in for a signature.
Wingma, I apologize.
I had to conceal my abilities. I, the betrayer, descend into hell. Watching, is this truly the moment to discuss such matters? Wangma, why have you kidnapped me? Did you not tell me that I am the true daughter of the Su family? Upon hearing this, Wang Ma's expression hardened, her gaze fixed coldly upon Watching, who was bound tightly to a chair as she gritted her teeth and declared, years ago, Su Jingtian caused the death of my beloved. I vowed to exact revenge upon him. Thus, I exchanged you a newborn, with the daughter of my cherished man, waiting for the opportune moment to reveal the truth and inflict suffering upon the Su family. You cannot fathom how long I have awaited this day. Watching and I shared an unusual silence, united in our contemplation. Her method of revenge involved biding her time as a maid within the enemy's household, secretly swapping the offspring of her beloved with Su Jingtian's biological daughter, and ultimately revealing the truth at a suitable time, allowing the true daughter to claim her heritage amidst the chaos. I found myself at a loss for words.
Wingma.
Do you now feel even a flicker of satisfaction in your pursuit of revenge? Just a hint, a mere glimmer? Wang Ma's composure faltered as she shouted at me. How could I have anticipated that Su Jingtian's family would disregard all bonds of kinship? I have kidnapped both of my daughters. Let us see whom he chooses. The air fell into a heavy silence for 3 seconds. I cautiously reminded her, am I not the daughter of your beloved man? As Wang Ma fell silent, my father, mother, and brother arrived, along with Uncle Chen. Do not approach. I have planted explosives on both of them. Wang Ma's eyes bore into him. An eruption of years of pent-up resentment. Su Jingtian, you are utterly heartless, not even sparing your own brother. Had it not been for your schemes, Jingza would not have boarded that fatal flight. My father frowned. You seek revenge for Su Jingza, Wang Ma? Indeed. To exact my revenge, I swapped your children. The daughter you have raised for 18 years should have called you uncle. You never anticipated that you would scheme against Jingza only to raise his daughter. My mother, terrified, cried out. The child is innocent. Wang Ma, deaths should be settled with their rightful owners. If you seek revenge, confront him directly. She pulled my father forward. My brother shot me a disapproving glance. You ought to avoid letting a middleman profit from this. I wanted to laugh, yet the explosives in my hands confined me. Thus, I continued, Wang Ma, look at me. I am the only remnant of your beloved in this world. Wang Ma hesitated for a moment, her expression hardening once more. I can discern that you harbor little affection for your own biological daughter. Instead, you seem more concerned for the daughter you have nurtured for 18 years. Therefore, today I shall kill you both before your very eyes, ensuring that you live in perpetual torment. As she spoke, she moved to press the button in her hand. Wait. In the nick of time, Uncle Chen interjected, Qing, do you not recognize me? The world around me had transformed into an incomprehensible spectacle. My parents were not my parents, but rather the true parents of the legitimate daughter. My brother was not my brother, but the brother of the true heir. Wang Ma was not merely a maid, but a bitter enemy of our family. Uncle Chen was not just the steward. He was in name my second uncle, and by blood my father. As Uncle Chen revealed his true identity, I found myself questioning my staunch materialism for the first time. In the next moment, Wang Ma, in disbelief, exclaimed, Jingza, brother. Uncle Chen was my second uncle, who my father had cruelly plotted against to his demise. According to Uncle Chen, he had not been betrayed but had grown weary of familial intrigues, thus feigning his death alongside my father's scheming. He had lived in hiding for years, returning under the guise of Uncle Chen, serving as steward to my father. Wang Ma was bewildered. So there is no enmity? None, he replied. Then what has this 18-year plot amounted to? A mere folly born from your romantic delusions? The kidnapping was resolved, yet a more pressing matter remained. In the Su family's living room, I confronted my so-called second uncle, gazing at him as he sat upon the sofa. No, he was not my uncle but my brother's father. As he looked at me, I was struck by his striking features, more handsome than my father's. Yet I lacked the courage to approach him, feeling a deep sense of inadequacy. Uncle, no, you are not my daughter. You are my brother's daughter. The shock was now mine to bear. At that moment, my brother produced the paternity test results, waving them before Watching and me. I clearly saw the match, 99. 95 DNA compatibility between myself and Su Jingtian. You are my sister, my brother stated coldly, his gaze sweeping over me with his usual disdain. Though, indeed, you do not bear much resemblance. Wang Ma, how can this be? She questioned, incredulous. I did indeed switch the children, she insisted. But I returned them after. Uncle Chun interjected once more. The mystery was unveiled. According to Uncle Chun, after Wang Ma had exchanged the children, she secretly switched them back, but for years. In order to protect Wang Ma, they had remained silent and unassuming. "Do watching, this means I am your daughter," I said, witnessing her eyes widen in disbelief, tinged with a profound sense of bitterness, as if she could not accept that she was merely the daughter of a steward. "Uncle, no, you are not my daughter." Du Watching's expression froze once again. Uncle Chun sighed. "My wife has long since strayed. When I feigned death, she falsely claimed to bear my illegitimate child to secure a greater share of my inheritance.
So whose child you are I cannot say.
Of course, if you wish. You may call me godfather." Du Watching appeared utterly paralyzed, her eyes wide, lips trembling. After a long silence, I could no longer bear to watch. I stepped forward to offer a gentle consolation. "If you wish to cry, then cry."
Wah!
Wang Ma was taken away by Uncle Chun. Du Watching agreed to study abroad in Argentina. As for me, I continued my existence as before, languidly awaiting my fate. However, the atmosphere at home had shifted. My once indifferent father no longer roamed the house, my glamorous mother no longer spent nights at hotels, and my stoic brother transitioned from boarding to living at home. Though Wang Ma and Uncle Chun were gone, my father and mother remained. Astonishingly, my father even organized a family outing, of a rare occurrence. I was puzzled. There was no need to return merely for my sake. "We reflected on this matter," my stoic brother remarked, "and realized we had perhaps provided you with a little less security than you deserved." "I am actually quite well," I replied. "Do not think I am unaware. The results have yet to be released, yet you are already preparing to leave." I was taken aback, gazing at them as I swallowed hard. "You all know," I acknowledged, "that I have secretly packed all my belongings, ready to escape at any moment. Nian, and in our hearts, even if you were ordinary, we would still believe you are our biological daughter." My mother turned to me, her gaze filled with an unfamiliar warmth. "I have never doubted." My heart felt as though it had been struck. From the moment Du Watching appeared, I had been certain of my falsehood. For I had never truly belonged to this family. They resembled elegant swans, radiant in their splendor, while I was but an inconspicuous ugly duckling. I thought. I began, but for reasons unknown, my nose tinged with bitterness. Just as I was about to speak, the man in the driver's seat interjected, "After all, no family grave can continuously emit smoke." I closed my eyes. Thus, the weight upon my heart was finally released. The end of the tale has come. Thank you for listening.
Until we meet again in the next story.